So what we're saying, how has the industry changed in the last 20, 30 years? I think, first and foremost, is in the mid-70s, early 80s, we thought the 747 was the absolute, epitome of what an aircraft would be. You'd never get more people in a plane up in the air and what have you. Since then, advances in technology have meant that they've made the planes lighter using carbon to build the planes. They've made the engines very, very, very much more effective due to being able to run them through on computers, which means that you're now flying planes probably twice as large as the 747, but able to land on runways that the 747 is also able to land on, which would be inconceivable in the 80s, because bigger planes meant bigger runways. It was as simple as that. Now it doesn't mean that. It means that you can carry more people into airports using the same runways. This is where technology also comes in, because now that you're disgorging bigger amounts of people, you need really, really state-of-the-art technology to get these people through the airports rather than snarl them up. I mean, I can recall coming into Honolulu, coming back from New Zealand, and 3 747s were on the ground at the same time. It was absolutely horrendous to clear all the passengers. Now that you go to New York, it's happening all the time. It's because they do what they call ESTAs, which means that you get online clearance. So you get to the other side, you go to a machine, get your clearance, and then go to a customs officer or an immigration officer. Cuts down time tremendously, which means the airlines can carry more people. Another one is that they now do all the weight and balance on computers, which means they can take it right to the nth degree before departure to get the planes in the air, which means that they can actually totally cut down the amount of fuel to what is required, plus a certain added amount for diversions if need be through weather and what have you. But the savings in fuel is phenomenal. And fuel, apart from the cost of the aircraft and the engines, is the third biggest cost of an airline. You've got another way that makes the industry that much more progressive is that probably since the mid-80s onwards, there's been a development of the air traffic control, the airspace that aeroplanes fly through. And we have a place called Shanwick. We cover an area called Shanwick, which is when you come out of the UK, you're going towards the continent, going towards the States. The technology involved in setting that up, as opposed to having people trying to plot it on screens, is phenomenal, which means, once again, airlines can feel safer flying more aircraft into this phenomenally large area, because they know that the margin of error is infinitesimal now, of what you've got. A very, very, very big step forward was on the cash flow of airlines. for years, you're always fighting a battle to get payments on time. You know, the industry practice is that you get paid the month after the agent submits a return. So an agent will do all his sales 1 month. He is obliged to settle by the end of the next month. Invariably, you had a team of people chasing debts all the time. Now, they would pay, but they'd hang it out as long as, or they wouldn't pay. You know, like you had no way of knowing whether they were defaulting or what have you. And over the, about the same sort of time, over the last 20 to 30 years, the airline governing body called IATA has brought in passenger and cargo settlement plans, which means that all airlines signed up, well, most airlines signed up to it. Most agents, if they wanted to operate, signed up to it. We initially wouldn't here in the UK, that's Virgin, for the simple reason that initially it meant so much paperwork for us, getting copies of what they called airway bills, or every single shipment that went, you'd have to send a copy of the airway bill to IATA, which is the International Air Transport Association's people in Camberley. They would then log how much business you've done with each agent and then bill them. The beauty of the system was that eventually we got an ability, and IATA got an ability to take online records. So we would do all of our billing and accounting online, and then twice a month we'd send all the records through to Camberley. By the end of the month, they would bill every agent for every airline that belonged to it, which meant twofold. One, you got paid on the 30th, otherwise if you didn't get paid, what they call, they blacklisted them. The other thing is they could see at a glance who the probable defaulters were going to be, because whereas the agents would pay off one airline against the other, they'd use you this month, hold back on paying you, and use another airline while they're getting their money in, and then come back to you the next one. You know, so they can't do that now. They have to pay within 30 days. So money-wise, it's phenomenal. Staffing-wise, I'm sorry to say, it saved a few people, because it meant that all the paper billing all out the window. It's all now done through the computers. It's all done through technology. An even greater advance, to my mind, was the courier companies, the Federal Expresses, the United Parcel Services, who developed cradle-to-grave systems, which meant that you give them a document, or in Nebraska, that would then get entered into the system. You could trace the shipment right the way through the destination. So they give you an airway bill number, and you can call it up on the internet. You can see exactly where your shipment is. They then deliver it. They got a handheld device. Everything's billings, everything's just done in one hit. I know for a fact that when Federal Express took over our company, they were writing off millions every year in debts, because they just couldn't keep up. Now, they write off it. It's all wonderful, dare I say, automation. So, I don't know. The business isn't the fun that it was, but it's a business. they're in there to. I mean, the problem with airlines is, to be honest, in a good year you can make a lot of money. In a bad year you can lose a phenomenal amount of money. Phenomenal amount. Fuel prices only have to go. Currency exchange only has to go. You know, you can lose your shirt. So it's invaluable that you have all this technology at hand. You know, I was just going to say that in the 1980s we had what was deemed to be absolute state of the art. We were actually even in front of British Airways at the time that we had a system whereby we were able, through the computer, to have live conversations with our contacts of other employees all around the world. And but that was as far as it would go, that you got to British Airways in this respect. But it was limited to having computer telephone. Basically, you know, we're holding online conversations with our employees all around the world. And that was deemed to be absolute, as I say, state of the art. But now, what you got? You can have video conferences. You can have, you know, it's mobile technology has been the fastest growing thing, and it just makes contact with all the overseas stations just unbelievable. Unbelievable. We've never dreamt of it in the 80s. Be able to get you there. That's all I've got to say.